Now that our microphone is set up, we're gonna go ahead and set up our webcam. This is pretty simple USB cable that'll plug in. But one of the things you wanna keep in mind is you wanna make sure that your camera is angled properly and that it's set to a right level. Some people like to set it dead center, so it looks like you're looking at the audience, you're looking at the streamer head on. I like to set mine a little bit askew and then kind of be able to look at them. And this is something that you have to be very mindful when you're doing live streaming or you're doing camera work, is you have to be mindful that when you look at the lens, it's like you're looking at the other person's eyes. Anytime you're a little bit off askew or, you know, even slightly, the viewers are gonna notice and they're gonna think you're looking right past them. So this is something you wanna be mindful of and something that we're gonna cover in later tutorials. So now we wanna set up our webcam. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the Logitech website, and we'll post that link down below in the description. And we're gonna go ahead and download the software that lets us customize the look of our camera. Usually the drivers are installed right out of the box, but what the Logitech webcam software will do is allow us to customize the lighting, the focus, and things more in detail. So we're gonna go ahead and download that. Once you have it installed, you can just run it. It's gonna recognize your webcam model, and we're gonna go into quick capture, and we're gonna set up our preferences. So there you go, immediately you can see yourself, and we're gonna go into controls. I'm going to make some changes here because I want this to look exactly the way I want it every time I stream. What usually ends up happening is you can control the lights in your room that you're streaming. And so if you have a lighting kit set up or if you have some sort of light, it's going to be consistent. And what you want is you want to set your controls on your camera to manual so that your camera isn't constantly refocusing or trying to adjust the white balance, but rather that it's consistent, and once you set up your environment and you're good to go, you can just start streaming right away. So when we go into the settings, this isn't usually as pictured. So technically these are the defaults. You're gonna see it looks great across the board. What you wanna try to do is disable a lot of these features. So you're gonna disable right light. What that's going to do is basically hunt for the right color balance constantly. We're going to set the focus to manual. So we're going to unclick this, right? And we're going to make sure that it's set to infinity, which is the little mountain icon. That's going to basically set our camera to focus at any distance. Now, what it won't do is it won't hunt for something that's close. You see that? If I was to set it to autofocus, what the camera is going to do is it's going to focus on me, then it's going to focus on my hand, then it's going to focus on me, and it's going to keep doing this. You know, if you're in the middle of a stream and you're doing something with your hands or you're showing something to the camera, well, you know, I can see certain uses for it, but most of the time you're keeping the same distance, you know, to your audience, and you want to try to just maintain a consistency. I like to turn it off. You can play around with that. Next, we're going to go into advanced settings. Now what we're going to see here is you can set your gain, your exposure, and your brightness, contrast, and color intensity levels. Now this is very important. I would tell you that you should leave these on manual as well. Let's play with the white balance first. So we use fluorescent lighting here, and we generally want to look for a color balance, a white balance that looks not too warm, but not too cool. I think somewhere there is about right. The logo on my shirt is white, my shirt is red, everything's looking good. We're gonna go ahead and leave it there. As far as color intensity, I don't like to look oversaturated, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it where it is. Same thing with contrast, that looks about right. Now, I like to play with the exposure. So we get a nice feel. I kind of like a little bit overexposed, and gain is similar. We're gonna leave it there. Now, if you're in the US, you definitely want to use NTSC. If you're in Europe, you want to use PAL. It's gonna basically set your flicker rate or your hertz to the same as your monitor. And that's about it. You want to make sure you save these. right sound, you leave it off as well. Go ahead and save that. And now we've set up our webcam. We're good to go. This is all set to manual. We're going to go ahead and close this out. And we're good to go.